Two cruisers, two philosophies. The Rebel 1100 is Honda's lean, tech-forward take on modern cruising, while the Chief Bobber leans into Indian's heavyweight, air-cooled heritage. Here's how these two very different, blacked-out machines stack up across 9 key comparison points before a final verdict. The Rebel 1100 wears a stripped-down, blacked-out silhouette with a compact fuel tank, minimal bodywork, and a low, purposeful stance that reads more modern standard than traditional cruiser. Blacked-out engine covers, frame, fork, and even the final drive chain reinforce that contemporary, understated aesthetic across every trim level. The Chief Bobber goes the other direction entirely, chasing a post-war bobber look with a nacelle-mounted headlight, fork and shock covers, bobbed fenders, and fat 16-inch wire-spoke wheels front and rear. Where the Rebel feels like a clean-sheet design built for 2026, the Chief Bobber is unapologetically retro, right down to its mini-ape handlebars and forward-mounted foot controls that visually announce its old-school bobber intentions before you've even thrown a leg over it. Buyers are essentially choosing between two entirely different eras of cruiser design language, one looking forward, the other deliberately looking back at nearly a century of American motorcycle heritage. Honda's Rebel 1100 uses a 1084cc liquid-cooled parallel twin borrowed from the Africa Twin platform with a 10.5-to-1 compression ratio and unicam valve architecture, tuned for broad, usable torque and a genuine willingness to rev, a trait that sets it apart from most cruisers in its class. The Chief Bobber counters with an air-cooled 111 cubic inch Thunderstroke V-twin, producing 108 pound-feet of torque at just 3,200 RPM, a figure delivered low in the rev range for effortless roll-on acceleration from a stop. The Honda favors a smoother, more contemporary power delivery with meaningful top-end pull, while the Indian leans on classic torque-heavy V-twin low-end shove and a distinctive rumbling exhaust note that's core to the Bobber experience. Neither approach is objectively better, they simply reward different riding styles and different definitions of what a cruiser engine should feel like underneath a rider. The Rebel's compact engine layout and centralized mass were engineered specifically for maneuverability, and at a 59.8-inch wheelbase with a 27.5-inch seat height, it handles more like an approachable standard than a cruiser, making it friendly for shorter riders and confidence-inspiring at low speeds. The Chief Bobber stretches to a considerably longer 64-inch wheelbase and a lower 26-inch seat, with forward-mounted pegs and mini-ape handlebars that push riders into a laid-back, arms-up riding position with a 28.5-degree lean angle before the foot pegs touch down. That stance looks the part, but can feel less neutral in corners than the Rebel's more centered ergonomics, especially for taller riders working against the reach of those raised handlebars at highway speeds. Honda equips the Rebel 1100 with a 5-inch color TFT display, a USB-C charging port, standard cruise control, and Honda RoadSync smartphone connectivity, giving it a genuinely modern electronics package for the class, along with Honda selectable torque control for added rider confidence in slippery conditions. The Chief Bobber sticks with a simpler 4-inch analog gauge, featuring a speedometer, indicator lamps, and a basic multifunction display. Functional, but noticeably less sophisticated than the Honda setup. Both bikes include cruise control and ABS as standard equipment, but Honda's electronics package feels more consistently modern and more feature-rich overall. Giving riders touchscreen-adjacent convenience the Chief Bobber's analog gauge simply doesn't offer out of the box. The Rebel 1100 DCT tips the scales at roughly 518 pounds wet, keeping it light and flickable for a big displacement cruiser, and easy to muscle around a driveway or tight parking spot. The Chief Bobber is considerably heavier, at 670 pounds dry and about 694 pounds in running order, nearly 180 pounds more than the Honda. That extra mass gives the Indian a planted, substantial feel at speed and on the highway, but it makes the bike noticeably more work at parking lot speeds and during tight, low-speed maneuvers compared to the Rebel's far easier-to-manage heft, something new riders in particular should weigh carefully before buying. Both bikes run ABS-equipped hydraulic disc brakes, but their setups differ in character. The Rebel uses a 330mm front disc paired with a 256mm rear disc, backed by nitrogen-filled Showa remote reservoir rear shocks offering 3.7 inches of travel, and a 43mm front fork delivering 5.5 inches of travel with adjustable preload. The Chief Bobber runs 300mm discs front and rear, the front squeezed by a 4-piston caliper, a 46mm fork delivering 5.2 inches of travel, and dual rear shocks with adjustable preload but a noticeably shorter 3.0 inches of travel. The Honda's suspension setup generally trades a bit more travel for a slightly plusher, more forgiving ride, while the Indian's tighter travel reinforces its low-slung bobber stance and stripped-down look at some cost to comfort over rough or broken pavement. Honda gives Rebel 1100 buyers a real choice: a conventional 6-speed manual on base trims, or Honda's automatic dual-clutch transmission on the DCT and DCT SE models, complete with paddle shifters and the option to run fully automatic or shift manually without a clutch lever. The Chief Bobber offers no such flexibility. It's strictly a 6-speed manual transmission across every trim, paired with a wet multi-plate clutch and a gear drive primary. Riders who want an automatic cruiser experience have only one option between these two, and it's the Honda. Indian keeps things traditional with a conventional shift lever, foot-operated shifter, and hand clutch throughout the entire Chief Bobber lineup, appealing to riders who prefer full manual control over every gear change. The Rebel 1100 undercuts the Chief Bobber substantially. Honda's manual transmission base model starts at $95,999, with the DCT model at roughly $10,299/$10,399, and the range-topping DCT SE around $11,099/$11,199, plus a $775 destination charge across the lineup. The Chief Bobber starts meaningfully higher, with base pricing generally landing in the high $17,000 range depending on the model year, color, and dealer. A figure worth confirming locally, since Indian pricing has shifted noticeably in recent years and can vary by region and available promotions. Dollar for dollar, the Rebel delivers more modern tech, a significantly lighter chassis, and a transmission choice for thousands less than what Indian charges for its heritage-style Bobber. The Rebel 1100 suits riders who want a versatile, easy-to-live-with cruiser that can comfortably handle daily commuting, back-road canyon runs, and even light long-distance touring, especially in the bagger-equipped Rebel 1100T guise, without ever feeling like an intimidating heavyweight cruiser. The Chief Bobber is built for a different kind of rider entirely. Someone chasing classic American V-twin character, low and long bobber styling, and the unmistakable physical presence of a nearly 700-pound machine with a big air-cooled engine rumbling underneath them at every stoplight. One is a modern, adaptable all-rounder built to fit many riding styles. The other is a styling statement first and a practical daily cruiser second. Choosing between these two comes down to priorities rather than outright superiority. The Rebel 1100 wins on value, weight, technology, and everyday usability. It's the more modern, more affordable, and more approachable machine, especially with the DCT automatic option available. And it remains genuinely capable whether the ride is a daily commute or a weekend backroad blast. The Chief Bobber wins on presence, heritage styling, and old-school V-twin character, delivering a sensory and visual experience the Rebel simply doesn't attempt to replicate, from its rumbling thunderstroke exhaust note to its unmistakable bobber silhouette. Riders prioritizing performance per dollar, lighter handling, and daily versatility should lean toward the Honda. Those chasing classic American bobber styling, a bigger, air-cooled V-twin rumble, and a bike built to turn heads at every stop should lean toward the Indian, provided they're comfortable with the added weight, taller price of entry, and less flexible transmission options that come with it.